So Adam Schefter on NFL Live talked about the potential chance that the Cowboys are a sleeper pick in order to draft a quarterback, and this is his full quote on NFL Live. What are they going to do at quarterback if they lose Dak? That's interesting, and that's why I think the Cowboys might be a sleeper team in the quarterback market during the draft, because at some point in time, they might have to draft a quarterback higher than you think because Dak is going to be in the last year of his contract. We talked about this before. How much is he worth? Should they extend him? They also have CeeDee Lamb on the last year of his deal. They're going to need to pay Micah Parsons very soon. They have a lot of big-time contracts that are coming up, and they will need to be paid. Dak Prescott, we heard before the season, Ian Rappaport reported that they're not, doing a deal at least soon. However, we did hear other reports that they were planning on extending Dak. If they don't, should they look to the future in this particular draft at the quarterback position?
Well, maybe they'll draft a quarterback. They have 2 7th-round picks. Maybe they'll waste one on a quarterback in a very late round. Maybe their last pick. I don't think they're going to do that. They need a lot at other positions. They have no agreement with Dak right now on an extension. They've got, though, until next year and March 12th, 2025 to work out an extension. So it's not like it's urgent right now. Otherwise, he counts $40 million against the salary cap. And even without an extension, if they lose him, he counts $25 million against the cap. So they got some cap issues with him. What they need to do is sign him to an extension and restructure his salary so they can get some cap space. And I would have thought they would have done, if they really loved Dak, they probably would have done that by now. And I think they're letting them think about it a little bit. But this is Jerry Jones. He does it this way. He hasn't gotten CeeDee Lamb signed, Micah Parsons. He waits till the last minute. They wind up overpaying. They could have had CeeDee Lamb last year on an extension, much cheaper. Look at the season he had. Amazing. Really an amazing season. We talked about this on the last show. So my feeling is the Cowboys are built to win now, right? They have Parsons, Diggs, Lamb, Bland. It's hard to see them thinking they're in a rebuild mode right now. So my money says that they extend Dak at some point before March 12th, 2025. I'll have more to say about it, but I want to hear your comments.
I'm not going to say I told you so, ever, because we need to see where this goes, but how bad is Trey Lance then? How bad is Trey Lance that they're not even thinking about looking at him? And Adam Schefter saying that they could be a sleeper pick to draft a quarterback and higher than you think. Does that mean that they'll go get Spencer Rattler somewhere in the middle 3rd or 4th round pick? Are they going to try to do something there? Or are they just going to, like you said, bank on a very, very late round quarterback just to say that we drafted a quarterback and it could be Dak's replacement? Still, on the depth chart, Cooper Rush is still the backup quarterback. I don't think Dak is fearing for Cooper Rush, even though when Cooper Rush was out there, he performed very, very well. And then Trey Lance is still QB3. And what was funny is that Trey Lance said when he got traded, he wanted to go to a place where he had an opportunity to play. He's still QB3. Even when they were blowing out teams, it was Cooper Rush who came in to play, not Trey Lance. So I think the question is, how bad is Trey Lance? Because you gave up, a 5th round pick, 4th round pick for him? Yeah. How bad could he possibly be? Clearly, he has to be pretty bad enough that you're not even giving him a look.
Yeah.
So my guess would be, you're not going to get the same production out of any rookie quarterback or any quarterback that's on the market right now, unless there's one out there that we're going to talk about soon that could be making an appearance there, although it wasn't talked about. It could be a potential opportunity, but that wouldn't be for this season, unless Dak gets hurt, of course. So for me, I'm saying, yeah, I agree with you. This team has been built to win for the past 5 seasons. When they had Zeke at the prime of his career. Then you go out and you get CeeDee Lamb and you bring in Brandon Cooks last year. Jake Ferguson, very good tight end after you lose Dalton Schultz. Very, very productive. Your offensive line has been great to absolutely tremendous for a number of years now. You also have a running back issue that you need to get sorted out this season. It's probably your biggest hole on offense besides maybe offensive tackle or center. Your defense has been incredible. You had a guy who just broke an NFL record for the most amount of pick sixes in a season. I think the Cowboys should be looking at a quarterback. I'm not saying use your first-round pick to get a quarterback. I think that would be stupid because you have right now a very, very expensive quarterback that you're talking about paying nearly $59 to $60 million a year, according to the report, although that's not his value according to SpotTrack. With SpotTrack, you're looking at a $30 million wide receiver, a $25 million edge rusher in Micah Parsons, and potentially, according to SpotTrack, a $51 million quarterback. And that's for 3 players. What about the rest of your team? And that's the challenge of it. You got to cut bait. For instance, the Chargers just did that. The Bills did that this offseason because you had cap casualties. This time, it's just, you should just start over at this point. Trade Dak if you want. At least get some value of him just getting rid of him.
Yeah, well, I think that, one thing Dak has to worry about, there could be lots of quality quarterbacks in the league next year. There already are quite a few quality quarterbacks, but with this draft class, if some of these 3 or 4 of these quarterbacks really perform and they're considered franchise quarterbacks, there may not be that many places for Dak to go next year. The money might not be there for him. I mean, Cousins got 4 years, $180 million. He's playing on one wheel. And he's 35 years old.
And
so
if Dak's looking to get signed, look towards that type of money, $45 million a year.
Yeah,
Don't be.
But
looking
he may
at
have
60.
to go. He may have to go to a team that is not built to win, like the Cowboys, to get that kind of money. That's a possibility. And I think maybe Adam Schefter doesn't think Trey Lance is any good, and maybe most of the league doesn't think so. But Jerry Jones might think so. He may think Trey Lance needs a chance. He got him cheap. He may be. Who knows? He may still have something. He was drafted right up there.
Pick number 3.
Pick number 3, and the 49ers gave up a ton to get him.
3 first-round picks, and I think a second-round pick as well.
Wow. So, and he had some bad luck, and he didn't get that much time. He didn't get that much time to show what he could do. So I don't think the Cowboys have given up on him. Maybe the rest of the league has. They have a lot of other needs this year, right? You mentioned the running back, outside linebacker, offensive lineman, right? They lost some of their offensive.
Tyron Smith was the biggest one, probably.
Lost him. And but if they want to pick a quarterback with the late round, they got 2 sevenths. They got the 24th pick in the first round, the 56th pick in the second round, 87 in the third round, 174 in the fifth round, 216 in the sixth round, 233 in the seventh round, and 244. If you want to go with a quarterback, use one of those 2 seventh-round picks. Maybe Jordan Travis will be there.
Oh, he's going to be a late-round pick, yeah.
Florida State quarterback who had a terrible leg injury.
Yeah.
And, he's not going to play. Dak Prescott's going to be there this year, so Jordan Travis could take all the time he needs to heal, watch for a year. Who knows? He might be a sleeper that would be worth a 7th-round pick. Joe Milton of Tennessee.
He has a hell of an arm.
He's got a rocket arm.
Yeah.
But he's a little inconsistent. But, maybe with age and a little experience and watching the NFL from the sidelines for a year, maybe he could gain some consistency. Austin Reed, Western Kentucky. He doesn't have the kind of rocket arm that you need, but he's good at the off-schedule plays, and he has some accuracy issues too. So there's some quarterbacks that are interesting that could be there in the late round. Maybe you splurge a late-round pick and take one of them.
Austin Reed, Western Kentucky, Bailey Zappi's alma mater.
Yeah, see?
It's 6,000-yard season that Zappi had. Yeah, I don't see Austin Reed having that.
It might not be much competition in that league.
The Cowboys, though, no matter what happens this season, do we expect anything besides they win 12 games, make the playoffs, and lose in embarrassing fashion like they have for the past several years? I mean, let's be honest here. What are we expecting Dak and the Cowboys to do?
I gave them the over on the wins. They were at 10.5, right?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so I gave them. I think they'll get to 11 wins. Maybe they won't get 12 this year. I don't know. They lost some good players. We'll see what they can do in the draft, and maybe they aren't done with doing a few trades. We'll have to wait and see. That could be the case. But Mike McCarthy is a pretty good in-season coach. He's proven that 3 12-win seasons in a row. Yeah. Dak Prescott, a very good in-season quarterback, had his best year last year. So I think they'll win at least 11 games. For me, though, and I talked about this before, if he's looking for $60 million, he's got to have a perfect season to win the Super Bowl. Otherwise, you ain't getting $60 million.
unless it's Jerry Jones, which I guess unfortunately it is for him because he's going to overpay for Dak just to keep him.
If they win the Super Bowl, okay, Jerry Jones is going to pay him. I guarantee
exactly,
it.
But
he'll be so happy. He's waited 30 years now for a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he'll be so happy, and he's not getting any younger. Right. He will pay Dak at that point.
But let's say, and I brought up this example before, let's say they go to the NFC Championship game, which seems nearly impossible at this point just because of history always repeats itself when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Let's say they go to the NFC Championship game. They're up against the 49ers. Dak Prescott, with 1:30 left, he scores a touchdown. And then Brock Purdy leads a game-winning drive and ends the game on, let's say, a game-winning field goal. You made it to the NFC Championship game, and you put your team in a position to win, and your defense couldn't hold. I would give you $45 to maybe $50 million, depending on how the rest of the season went. If Dak has a near 5,000-yard season and plays at MVP caliber, give him $50 million a year. If he plays just normal Dak Prescott, and somehow they get to the NFC Championship game, and he plays well, scores that touchdown, or puts his team up with a field goal, and then Brock Purdy does some magic, then you could say, okay, our defense couldn't hold, but Dak put us in a position to win. Then you'd pay him and say, okay, we'll give you a 5-year extension for $45 million a year.
Yeah, I'm okay
with that.
I think if he gets deep into the playoffs, the Cowboys would re-sign him. They may do an extension before then. Who knows? It's hard to say with Jerry Jones. But there's no big rush at this point. And there is a risk that Dak winds up for a free agent, and there aren't that many. And other teams feel like they're in pretty good shape quarterback-wise, and he winds up playing for a rebuilding team, making a little more money. But, yeah, he's in a good spot right now. I think he's with a team that wins big in the regular season, has had terrible luck, and not played well in the playoffs. They need to find a way to get deeper into the playoffs. They got to do something. What can they do? What can they do to shake that up? Does it need
change a quarterback?
Change the head coach.
Dak Prescott in the playoffs chokes time and time again. Interceptions that digs his team such a deep hole.
Yeah.
But this time, it was just a culmination of everything in that first half. Defense couldn't stop Jordan Love, and Dak Prescott threw 2 horrible interceptions and put his team even farther in the hole when they couldn't even stop the youngest team in the NFL.
They need a ground and pound running game. They really need.
That's when Dak excels.
They could have, if they could get tougher on offense by using the ground and pound, then they wouldn't have to rely as heavily on Dak. I think that's one of the secrets.
In that case,
to them winning a playoff game.
Do you need a $55 million quarterback?
They have him this year. They have him this year. We're talking about this year.
Right.
What can they do to get deeper into the playoffs? I say have a much better running game.
And unfortunately, you're going to need to bank on probably a rookie in order for him to, create that ground and pound.
Number 24. There should be a pretty good running back at number 24.
I don't know if a running back is like Bijan Robinson type or any one of those top running. I mean, like probably.
Who's the best running back in the draft this year?
I think it's Blake Corum. Personally, for me, I think it's Blake Corum. But I say Blake Corum's a second-round pick, and my guess would be, and we're hearing it we're actually hearing it from even former Michigan players. I think Roman Wilson talked about it. The Chargers may go full Michigan, or just a bunch of Michigan players.
Oh yeah,
because that's the benefit of having a college coach is that they were scouting these players throughout high school and into college. You train with them, you coach them, so you know their skills and weaknesses immediately. How they're on the practice field, how they are with teammates. So that's why Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers could be an interesting team where they're going to get a bunch of Michigan players, maybe for the next 2-3 seasons, and we could be seeing some serious team chemistry because half the team's from Michigan.
So what pick do the Chargers? Oh, they have the
number 5 pick.
Number 5 pick. Yeah, we didn't have them picking Blake Corum then. I didn't have him
because he's not the 5th overall
pick. I had
pick.
Duce, the wide receiver.
Oh, Ndunze, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you traded the Chargers out, I thought. Or
no,
I did. I traded the Chargers back. Yeah. Correct. I said the Vikings move up and get
Yeah, so I had them not picking a Michigan player, so maybe it's Blake Corum they take with number 5.
Blake Corum.
That's too high.
Yeah, no, we're talking about 2nd, 3rd round.
Yeah.
Unless someone like the Giants say, okay, we have Devin Singletary, let's go get another Saquon rookie running back that's promising. They could do that. Also, I think Brooks, he's also a pretty good college running back. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.